Hello everyone, and welcome back to Breaking Point 2. I left the previous episode in kind of a weird way, just with the cutscene. I didn't even do an outro, because from the end of the cutscene went straight to this screen and to the beginning of the next season. So I just left it at that. But we're back and ready to go once again. But from the end of the previous season, it seems like Aiden Jackson will be staying on at Connor Sport. Casper Ackerman is now at the helm and will be taking over as team principal and will be now running the operation, and will be taking up the role that Andrea O'Connor has been doing so far. So we'll see what Season 2 has in stock for us, the 2023 season, where I'm sure most of the action will play out. 2023 and a fresh start. While the 2022 season exposed them to the harsh realities of life as a team on the F1 grid, Connor Sport Butler Global Racing Team looks set to bounce back with a newly invigorated team, now helmed by fan favourite and former driver Casper Ackerman.
Did Casper being around affect you going into the 23 season?
I have bigger things going on than Casper.
Do you have any regrets about 2023? Anything you'd have done differently?
No, I'm in a good place now. Besides, what's to regret about being the story of the season?
And now we are Devon Butler. That's a first. Okay. Well, that is something I did not expect. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I want to be Devon. I don't know. I'm not feeling like Devon. Oh. I think you need a new ringtone, mate.
Dad!
Devon,
How's business?
same as ever, hiring and firing. How's racing?
Oh, ducking and driving.
You all prepared?
Of course, I've double-checked the strategy changes. I'm just going over my notes now. Everything's covered, just like always. They won't see me for dust.
Spoken like a true butler. Just remember, we've got a lot on the line this season.
Yeah, I know.
Dev, I'm serious. You're carrying this team, don't forget that.
Yeah, well, you keep signing these second-rate drivers. I can't do all the work.
Just remember where we'd be. Where you'd be if this were all to go belly up.
Just trust me, Dad. You've got nothing to worry about.
Devon, I mean it. If you don't bring your A game, it's back to the bottom of the pile. Do you really want that?
No. No, I don't.
Just keep it in mind. Now go out there and show me what you can do.
Already on it. I'll get you those points, Dad.
Good boy. Speak later.
Well, that's ominous. Well, maybe the less said the better. Moving on. It's the first race of the season. Email from Casper Ackerman just encouraging the entire team. And of course, Casper Ackerman trying to manage the two drivers already, because we already know they're going to come to blows at some point. Oh, and there may be another background story because it's Davidoff's birthday soon. So there's a whole thing about that. And also apparently there's some not so good news about they've had a word with the builders, and apparently something happened between the builders and a car in the basement, and it's not good news. So sounds like Davidoff's got some bad news coming. And of course we have the weekend preview, but there's nothing really important in that. Although I will question, why is Mark Priestley engineering both Devon Butler and Aiden Jackson as well as Kelly Mayer in Formula 2 last year. That's a lot of engineering work. So with that said, let's head to the track. With his confidence high, as always, Devon Butler looks set to start the season strong at the Bahrain Grand Prix.
It was a race against time in 2004 to get Sakir ready for its Grand Prix debut. But today, the only race is where it matters, right on track. Welcome to the Bahrain Grand Prix. We go racing today around the 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Russell, Perez, Hamilton, Sainz, Stroll, Ocon, Norris, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Jackson, Gasly, Tsunoda, Butler, Bottas, Sargent, Joe, Magnussen, De Vries, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. 2023 Bahrain. We're about to get going, and I hope you've enjoyed the build-up just as much as we have. The teams are ready on the grid, they're ready in the garages too, but in the commentary box alongside me, are you ready, Ant?
Of course I'm ready, Crofty. New season, new challenges for all of them out there, drivers and teams. I love this part of the year, Crofty. This is where it really kicks off, and you get to showcase all that hard work you've done through the winter months. Does it pay off?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? What does the 2023 season have in store for us? We're about to find out.
Okay, Devon, it's a brand new season, you know that, so let's start it as we mean to go on, okay? Okay? Let's get out there, come on.
Alrighty. What is the objective? We don't have one yet. Okay. I guess we'll just try to get points. Alrighty then, here we go. For the Bahrain Grand Prix, objective is to finish in the top 5. Also, was Devon Butler just completely ignoring the engineer there? You're saying okay, okay, and no response from Devon Butler. He is off with the fairies again as we go to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Our first race start on this game, and it's been a pretty good one actually, as we had a brief look to the inside, chose the outside. In the end we almost found a window, had to briefly go off the road there to avoid contact, as we make a massive positions down into the first corner and slide ourselves into 9th position behind Lance Stroll. Now looking to the inside of the Canadian down into turn 4. We got a little bit too deep though. Stroll with the switchback, and he gets back through, as does Lando Norris, as we're on side by side with Lando in the McLaren as we continue this fight all the way through the middle sector, and we'll get back ahead of Lando Norris. Nice battle there, and we'll move ourselves back up and into 9th place. So a very decent start for us, and we'll see if we can get back after Lance Stroll. But we've done what we needed to off the start, and yeah, really reduced the workload for this race significantly by making a whole bunch of places immediately off the line. That little look to the inside, I think what they did is caused a whole chain reaction of cars in front of us to just sort of waft to the inside, as Alex Jakes would say, the defensive waft, and that's left the outside mostly open for us, as we now have a nice run on Lance Stroll, and we get the move done down the inside, and that is a job done, and we move ourselves up into P8. Next up on the radar is Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. So just 3 cars left to go between us and our target position. We do have a bonus objective to get into the top 3, as well as scoring the fastest lap. We need to do both of those things to grab the bonus objective, so we'll see if we can do that as well. Let's just see how that goes. So down the inside of Carlos Sainz, he gets a switch back on us though, bit of a wobble there from Sainz as he gets that switch back, bit of contact on the way through, so we'll need to go again on Carlos Sainz and see if we can get the job done on round 2. So we push on, and once again we go for the move. This time Sainz throws the block, and we'll go for the move round the outside, and this time we pinch him to the inside, and we will get the move done. No, we can't. We had it parked awkwardly on that inside curb, and we don't want to be messing with that one too much, so we'll stay behind Carlos Sainz for a little bit longer.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
No damage to the car, thankfully, and tyres are still good. But yeah, we're actually struggling a lot to pass Carlos Sainz at the moment. We actually seem to have relatively similar speed, but now here we go in the DRS, and look at the straight line speed now as we make the move around the outside, and that is job done on Carlos Sainz as we make the move stick through turn 2 and move ourselves up finally into P7. Next up we have Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, as he is scrapping away and having a great scrap with a few cars ahead of him. Lewis Hamilton up there.
Okay, roger that. Soft tyres at the next pit stop.
Scrapping away, as well as Fernando Alonso. We've just said to the engineer softs for the next pit stop. I don't know why, because we're on softs at the moment, so hopefully we fix that before we make our pit stop, because that's not a legal strategy. But anyway, yeah, that's an interesting thing we've just said. But anyway, we continue on, and we are trying to maneuver ourselves into the top 5 at the moment, just watching this battle play out in front of us. At the moment, it is Sergio Perez immediately in front of us that we're trying to chase down, and Fernando Alonso in front of him, Lewis Hamilton skipping away from this group a little bit at the moment. So it's a little bit awkward at the moment because Sergio Perez is so close behind Fernando Alonso. It's quite hard for us to get a run, and our tyres are really starting to drop away in terms of the degradation, so we're starting to struggle at this phase of the race. We'll see what we can do, but yeah, you can see through that middle part of the lap we really dropped away from Sergio Perez, so yeah, it was not a great lap from us there, and
the car ahead is increasing by a few tenths per lap.
And now we are very much on the defensive as Carlos Sainz goes for the move back down the inside. We go super late on the brakes and reclaim that position into turn 1. But yeah, now we are very much on the defensive and looking in the mirrors rather than being on the attack.
To go. Just one stop left in this strategy. Okay, your pit window opens next lap.
And thankfully our pit window is opening very soon, as Fernando Alonso is now the driver ahead. Hopefully Sergio Perez can skip away, and that'll give us a clear shot at Fernando Alonso. We've now confirmed the hard tyres for the next pit stop, so not confident that the mediums will be the ones to go on, as Carlos Sainz once again getting close to us, this time out of turn 10. But not close enough to make the move. We're still stuck in P7, so our progress very much has stalled in this race at the moment. But we'll see how it continues to play out as we continue to push on. At the end of lap number 6, we are doing, I think, a bit of a better lap this time. Sainz still right on us though. So we cannot relax as Sainz makes the move down the inside. We should see if we can get the switch back.
We lost the position, try to keep focus.
And we do get a very nice switch back on Carlos Sainz there. And we get the move done on Carlos Sainz. Move ourselves back up or back up ahead of Sainz. The positions are going to be getting skewed now because pit stops are beginning to play out. So until the pit stop cycle is over,
we're coming in this lap.
Our relevant position on track isn't really going to be our relative position on track isn't going to really mean much. We're in P6 at the moment, but anyway, it's our lap to box now, So we will come in on this lap. We actually did put in a pretty good lap that time around, and we're going to follow Fernando Alonso into the pit lane, and we will actually put in a pretty good performance into the pit lane there, very late on the brakes, without speeding.
Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that.
And good work by the Connosport crew there. We actually jumped Fernando Alonso.
Scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
So that is fantastic stuff by the pit crew there. And we've made that position in the pit lane. So that is absolutely awesome work by the crew there. We have gone on to the hard compound tyres. I wasn't confident in the mediums after the tyre wear we experienced in the first stint. And just how quickly the soft tyres dropped away as we rattle down the inside of Zhou Guanyu. But we make that move stick up into P7.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
So yeah, again, our position on track not quite reflective of where we really are in this race. A few drivers still left out on circuit to make their stops, including our teammate Aiden Jackson, still in front of us.
Coming in for his stop now.
So he will be making his stop right now. We'll be elevated a few more spots as we head along the straight here. We're up into the top 5 now, so the undercut working for us on a few drivers. And of course jumping Fernando Alonso up into 3rd position now with that. So that has worked wonders for us. George Russell and Max Verstappen, the only drivers ahead of us. We continue to push on, and it is Lewis Hamilton making the move down the inside of us as we try and hold the position around the outside as we continue to battle it out side by side with Lewis Hamilton, and we will fend him off and move ourselves up into now 2nd position as George Russell makes his stop, and that just leaves Max Verstappen out in front, and presumably he will remain there as we continue to battle on with Lewis Hamilton, and he's continuing to force the maneuver down the inside into the first corner, but we're going to do our best to try and hold him off as best we can. And for now, we are doing the job as we continue to push on in this one. We're not trying to defend into that final corner, trying to better our run out of it onto the straight, and because Hamilton had a little look, that very much compromised his run onto the straight, and now he's got George Russell to deal with down towards the first corner. So if we can keep that up,
okay, so we're leading our teammate by 20.
and now Sergio Perez getting involved as well. If we can keep that up, keep these 3 cars fighting as they're now scrapping it out into the first corner, and a bit deep there ourselves, that will very much benefit us. But we're starting to struggle on these tyres, even the hards, just not providing us with the tyre wear that we need, and the car just not turning in at all there. It just did not just bite into the corner and just rotate the car. Just gave us nothing into that right-hander, and to be fair, I'd missed the turning point, but there was just no recovery from the mistake. The car just refused to turn all throughout that sequence. So and even there, the left-hander, a little slide on the exit there as well. That's not going to help as Lewis Hamilton gets through. Now Sergio Perez not far behind. He's in 5th position as we lunge down the inside of Lewis Hamilton, desperately trying to get the podium back, as we're now going to run side by side up the hill. Hamilton will get the place back though, and I don't think we're going to be seeing 3rd place again in this race. I think that's too far gone now, as we have had a change of positions behind us. Carlos Sainz now the one behind. We've been scrapping away with him all day, and he's found himself into 5th position now. We don't have the fastest lap, so gaining 3rd won't actually do anything for us in terms of the bonus objective.
Okay,
so
mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
Really the goal is to stay in the top 5. So ideally, of course I want to still get as high up the field as possible, but we can afford to lose one more if we have to.
We've only got one 1 lap of fuel remaining.
But yeah, we're really struggling these last couple of laps as we head now onto the final lap again, going too deep into turn 4, but no one immediately behind us this time, so it's not going to cost us too much. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. These tyres just seem to be wearing out too fast, whether they're overheating or just whether it is just the raw tyre where something is not on our side today. Towards the end of the stints, after we just run on these tyres for a few laps, they just do not get along with us. So as we continue pushing on, Carlos Sainz, a brief moment there, he had a run on us, but not able to do anything with it. So I think we should be more or less in the clear now, unless he can get a good run towards the final corner or towards the finish line. I think we should be fine. So as we now head through what is the third to last corner, technically Sainz does have a good run on us, so we may have to go defensive here into the penultimate corner. Sainz to the outside, and we skip over the curb there. That sends us wide, and Sainz gets through on the inside. Let's just hope Sergio Perez doesn't come through as well. We get the slipstream from Carlos Sainz, and that will be enough for us to hold on to P5.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
But yeah, that was an awkward little finish there for us, but we did manage to hold on.
Meanwhile, plenty of surprises in the midfield. So where do we start, Ant?
Well, I think we have to look at Connor Sport. And for me, they've been the biggest surprise so far. And Butler, he's doing fantastically well.
Thing is, though, they've got to sustain that over the course of the whole season, and that is easier said than done. Certainly one Casper Ackermann will be hoping that this season is better than his last. The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team.
What a start to the season, Devon. You must be happy with that performance.
Okay, so for most of these interview questions, I just chose whichever ones just felt the most like what Devon Butler would say. So for this one, I just said it just comes naturally.
Yeah, it just comes so naturally to me. I don't really think anything of it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't impressive. I mean, you seem impressed. I'm sure others do too, and rightfully so. I'm just saying that it was actually pretty easy for me today.
Well, you've had your share of run-ins in the past for teammate Aiden Jackson. Crucial question is that behind you? How do you feel about him right now?
And for this one, I went with the option on the left. He's too serious. Because, I mean, that is kind of true, actually.
Yeah, it's fine. Look, the main difference between me and Aiden is I know how to take a joke. I personally want him to perform at his best. But whenever I try to give him just a little friendly advice, he takes it so personally. I mean, he is a very difficult man to have a conversation with. He's all right, you know, he's cool, but he's just very serious.
Well, Connor Sport surprised everyone by appointing Casper Ackermann as team principal this season. So how do you feel about taking orders from someone that you've got such a history with?
And for this one, I just thought I might try and get Devon in a bit of trouble because I thought it would be funny, so I chose the option on the right. I wanted a more fiery, passionate character for a team principal.
We all know what Casper's like. He's very calm, very considered, and that's great. It's great, but ideally, I wanted a principal I could get my teeth into. You know, I wanted a fiery, passionate Gunter Steiner type. I don't know, but instead, I got the Iceman himself. Is it too late to bring back Andrea? I don't, yeah. Nah. I'm kidding. Ackermann's all right.
Well, you're embarking on a new year, but what would a successful season look like for you in 2023?
And for this one, while I was tempted to go for the option on the left, making Casper laugh, in the end I went for the one on the right, making Connor Sport the best team we can be.
I'm making it my personal mission to make a success of Connor Sport, and by the end of the season, you're all going to be saying what a wonderful team we are and how great a season we've had. And if you're doing that, then I'll consider it a job well done.
Thank you so much for your time.
That was a very sudden change in character for Devon Butler at the end of that interview. But anyway, Devon starts the season in fantastic form with an impressive result for Connor Sport in Sakhir.
Great race out there today, just in the highlights. Listen, I know we've had our run-ins and, well, last season was last season.
But Connor Sport's got a real chance. Casper on board, you driving like that. Let's put the past behind us.
Fresh start for the team. What do you say?
Oh, Jackson. Yeah. Cheers, mate. Bin's over there. Yeah. Nice one.
How about the season just gone?
The 2023 season was completely different for Connor Sport.
How so?
Well, the car, for one. We'd ironed out the most critical issues, and it was just starting to live up to its potential.
Can we talk about what happened with Devon?
Yeah, what is it?
Now that's how a butler takes care of business.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Carrying the team, Devon, as well as the butler name. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, went well.
Well, I can't wait to hear what those clowns Ackerman and Connor have to say.
Yeah.
You okay, Devon?
What? Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'm, just adrenaline, Dad. I really pushed it out there today, you know, I just need to simmer down a bit.
Of course you do. Let's talk later. I'll be in meetings, but call me whenever you like. I'm proud of you, son. Let's just make sure today's result isn't just a one-off. Eh?
Yeah. All right. Ciao.
And as Devon Butler's phone slides off the screen in slow motion, it once again splits in half, just like Callie's did earlier. So that's two new phones. Two people have broken their phones in half. I'm going to point that out every time that it happens. Fix your animations, EA. Anyway. What happened with Devon Butler, though? That is the question. He seems to be off in La La Land. Sometimes he wasn't listening to the engineer at the start of the race. Not listening to Aiden Jackson at the end of the race. Wasn't even listening to his father during the phone call, really. It didn't seem there. He's just, I don't know. Doesn't seem to be paying attention to anything, it seems. It's very, very strange. But anyway, I guess we'll find out in due course what's happening with Devon Butler. But for now, we will see if there's anything in the news, socials and emails, and move on to the next chapter. The Ackerman effect. Yes, Connor Sports new principal bounce. Yeah, they've had a great start to the season. But anyway, not too much in terms of news. There's gonna be just a bunch of rubbish in socials as always. So, Devon Butler wants to work with Gunther Steiner. I wonder who would come out on top in that relationship. Looking at emails now. Got one from Casper Ackerman. What can I say? I am humbled. I knew Connor Sport were good, but that was something else. I'll have much more to say at the debrief, and to each department in turn. but we are firing on all cylinders. Keep it up. This is only the beginning. Cass. And we've got another email from Casper, directly to Aidan and Devon, telling us to slow down because we're too good. And we have part 2 of what's going on with the Butler car. And Dev, looks like I'm not going to have to get legally involved after all. The insurance are happy to pay the claim for the damage to the bodywork, and there's a specialist over in Barnes willing to take it on. It will take a few months, but at least we can get it sorted. I need a decision on what we do with the builder, though. I've spoken to him again. He clearly feels really guilty about the whole thing. I also found out exactly how it happened. Would you believe he decided to hop into the driver's seat and pretend to be a racing car driver? He said he couldn't resist. His face was bright red while he was telling me. The irony is, he didn't even know who you were. It's when he got out that he pranged the door. It's one heck of a dent. He does seem like a really nice guy, and it's clearly a big job for him. So, I just need to know if you're happy for him to continue with the work. Let me know what you want to do, and I'll make it happen. K. Alright. From the first email, because they were talking about Davidoff's birthday in the same email, I assumed it was Davidoff's car, but I assume now they must actually be Devon's car they're talking about. But anyway, yeah, silly builder. Don't trust that building company. But anyway, not if you have a fancy car at least. I wonder what Devon Butler's daily driver is. What he actually has. Actually, I wonder. This is going way off topic now. I wonder what the power unit the Connosport car is using. I'll have to do that test at the end of the series. Anyway, moving on. I think it's time we go to the next chapter. Australian Grand Prix. A strong start to the season for Connosport has the team in high spirits as the paddock heads to Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix. And so we arrive in Australia. And, well, back to this screen. News. F2 superstar Callie Mayer. Looks like she's been busy doing some simulator work, etc. for one of the Formula 1 teams. Evidently not Connosport. We already heard about that earlier on, that she's not here at this team, but interesting to hear she's still around. A bright turnaround at Connosport. Well, let's hope so. The season certainly started well. A look into 2022's Albert Park track updates and the varied history of Albert Park. Nothing terribly interesting there. Also, never anything interesting in socials. Can you come down to the garage early? An email from Phil Paget. Just wants to run through a few bits and pieces. Nothing terribly important. Email from Casper. Let's keep it up. Just a little further encouragement from him. The Yarra Valley is booked. And I'm actually going to take a closer look at this one because it mentions a couple of interesting things. Not so much about the Yarra Valley private tour part of it. That's all boring. But the Nigel Mansell's gloves part is interesting because Aidan Jackson wanted those and missed out on the auction. And apparently Devon Butler won the auction and paid an incredible amount of money just to annoy Aidan Jackson, it seems. So that's Devon Butler for you. But anyway, yeah, he didn't even want them. He just paid a lot of money to be annoying. So there you go. Oh, and there's one more from Kay Henderson. Almost forgot. I've had 2 calls now from a private clinic. Mentioned something about an appointment you booked, but won't talk to me about it. Do you know anything about this? And if so, can you call them Enjoy Australia K Henderson, personal assistant. So yeah, not sure what that one is about either, but we may find out. But anyway, I think it's time we get into the race. A solid performance in qualifying has the team in a good position at the Australian Grand Prix.
Here comes Butler, good pace here down the straight. Into the corner we go. That's a little too late, and he nearly goes off the track on the exit. And is that a lapse in concentration?
I think just a little bit of desperate driving there, Crofty. He's pushing way too hard. I mean, there's nobody else around him at this stage.
Okay, Devon, we're going to have to ease off from the brakes. Can you hear me?
Brakes don't feel right.
Okay, we'll have a look at it, but you're going to see a drop-off in performance, I'm afraid.
What? Why?
We've asked you to take it easy on the last lap, but pushing has made the issue even worse. So we're just going to have to live with it for now.
What are you talking about?
Listen, just do what you can, please, Devon. Come on.
Alrighty, we get going then for the Australian Grand Prix, and it seems this time the car has reached its breaking point, and we have, well, quite literally, a braking issue. The primary objective is literally just to hold on to as many positions as we can, which I don't know is actually an objective we can fail as such. I mean, if we can't hold on, if the best we can do is holding on to no positions, that's still as many as we can, technically. But anyway.
Okay, you're in ninth position.
We continue onward. Our secondary, or bonus objective, I should say, is to beat Aiden Jackson, so I guess we can try to do that.
Okay, we've lost a position, that's us down a place.
But this braking issue is definitely going to affect us, because it basically is putting us, I was going to say, on terms with the other drivers, whereas before I could easily just go full send on everyone, but it's actually worse. We definitely can't be out-braking anyone, and we get absolutely swamped there by a multitude of other cars, and we are losing positions left, right and centre. We've dropped well and truly out of the points now into P12, and now the driver behind us is our teammate Aiden Jackson, so if there's one driver we are going to try to beat, it is Aiden Jackson. We're not in the points, so we're not exactly going to be costing each other by fighting here.
Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Close to the end of the race as well, so we might as well get our elbows out Devon Butler style and make things difficult and have some fun with this race, and we'll see what we can do. We continue to push on. Jackson goes for the move down the inside. We force him to the inside. He hops over the curb. Almost a bit of contact between us there. This is proper Butler and Jackson rivalry here. But we managed to hold off Aiden Jackson. And for the most part, keep it clean there. And we're both still pointing in the right direction with no damage, which is the main thing. And Aiden Jackson will have to try again another time. So as we continue, as we run a bit wide there, that may leave the window open. So we hit the brakes. Oh, we've thrown it away there, and there they go. Oh, we've had another moment there. Was that a bit of contact or just a loss of the rear end? Hard to tell, but what actually caused that little moment. But regardless, we've just dumped another pile of positions there as we try to reclaim. Oh, we've just bailed out of the chicane there, and we're going to have to give that one up probably. There we go. We'll give up 15th position there, hand that one back to Nick DeFries there, and let him go. But yeah, that was an unfortunate little moment. But yeah, this race is basically done for us now. We just don't have the pace to fight with anyone. I mean,
okay, just 2 laps of fuel remaining now.
There goes Kevin Magnussen. It was really hard to get into a rhythm when you get used to the way a car drives, and then suddenly, you know, the characteristic of it changes. It suddenly becomes very difficult. So, yeah, This was a very, very tough race, and we just lost positions all the way through. Eventually we did manage to come across the line.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
All the way down in P17, but it was not a spectacular race.
Look, this isn't the first time we've seen Devon Butler go rogue, but the question is, what are Connor Sport going to do about it?
Well, it's really hard, as we've seen so many times before, Crofty, in the past. So hard to control your drivers. In a way, they're their own entity, but on the top of it, they're working for the team, and that's what you want. It's a very hard situation to manage.
And working for the team, Casper Ackermann wanted to make a clean break for this year. This does feel, though, that it's something that they might have had to have dealt with last season.
It's really not what they wanted. A repeat of what happened in the past, and you cannot let it go on. It can't continue. They're just damaging the reputation of the team and their own reputation as well. They have to sort it out. I'm sure they'll be having words.
So it's all changed here in Australia, and as the teams acclimatised to their new standings, so will we. Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
About what happened today, everyone would inevitably draw comparisons with Hungary last season when you said there was a comms issue. Are those two incidents related?
And this time I'm going to go with a smart answer just to save the team from any trouble in this situation and not fuel any speculation.
Look, anything I say is going to be taken out of context. So I'd rather not fuel that kind of speculation. I'll debrief the team and we'll figure out how we can stop it happening again. That's all there is to it.
Devon, you finished the race with a compromised car today. What was that like for you?
And now, of course, we're going to go back to being Devon Butler. Yeah, it was pretty easy, actually.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward, you know. Obviously, it wasn't going as fast as we all wanted it to, but, well, you saw the race. I got the best out of a bad situation. That's just what you have to do sometimes.
Now, some have been saying that you do get preferential treatment because your father funds the team. What do you say to those allegations?
And this one was actually a pretty good question. All four of these are actually fairly interesting options. But in the end, I just went with the one on the right. My father's money has no bearing on my natural talent.
That always strikes me as really odd. Like, as if the only reason that I'm first on the track is because my dad funds the team. You know, how is that an explanation? It's ridiculous.
So how do you expect Connor Sport to perform this season based on your performance so far?
And this one, I didn't really like any of the options, to be honest. I definitely don't want to be saying anything bad about Aiden Jackson. We don't want to be restarting that whole rivalry at this stage of the season. I don't want to say we can win the whole thing because that seems a bit too optimistic. But I also don't want to say if the car behaves itself because that kind of makes it sound like he doesn't have much faith in the team. So, I don't know, but maybe it's the best of the bad options. We'll see.
They got me, haven't they? So, yeah, I expect us to do pretty well. If they can sort out the car this time around, I'll get them all the points their little hearts desire.
Thank you so much for your time.
Alright, well that went better than I expected, to be honest, with that last question. But anyway, a promising start turned into a difficult end, with Devon having to finish the race with a compromised car. Didn't end well, unfortunately, down in 17th position, I believe it was. But yes, not great.
Could you take a look at this, please?
But anyway, developing the car. So it seems like the decision we made midway through the previous season to work on both the 2022 car and the 2023 car in tandem turned out to be a very good one, and it has made this year's car a very good one, and has generated some positive press, etc. And that turned out to be very much the right choice. I was actually quite worried about that one not panning out well, but no, apparently that was a good choice to make, so that is all good. Next up, he said what? Devon's in more trouble, as always, but apparently speculation is rife about Devon's lack of comment, or should I say our lack of comment on his behalf, on what happened out on track today. So we need to fix everything as always. So what are we going to do? We can criticize ourselves, which is kind of funny. But no, what we're going to do is investigate, of course, and see what happened. Because that is the most logical thing to do in this situation, and see if we can get things sorted out before things escalate out of control, because obviously there is something going on with Devon Butler, and we need to work out what it is. So hopefully we can get that sorted before the next race. But anyway. Oh, telephone. Andreo.
You nip this in the bud, Cass. Do you hear me?
Andreo.
Butler, what was that out there today? I will not have a return to last season. We are a team. He cannot be allowed to do just what he wants.
Look, just calm down. I have it under control.
Well, this is Devon we're talking about. There is no control. He nearly lost the car, Casper.
But he didn't. You know what it gets like out there. I'm sure there's an explanation.
Or an excuse.
And we'll find out. I'll be racing it at the debrief, okay? So I'll report back to you.
Okay, hang on. Look, I've got to go. I've got Davidoff on the other line.
Of course you have. Enjoy.
Andreo is not happy. But anyway, what is going on with Devon? That is the million-dollar question. But that is for next time. This video has been going on for long enough. We'll just quickly run through the news and all of that, and then we'll finish this one off as we go to the next chapter. But anyway, the case of the missing team order. Devon Butler again, not paying attention. But he's not paying attention to anything recently. He's just, I don't know. He's like I don't even know. Just nothing at the moment. But anyway, the comfort of the armchair. My chair doesn't have arms, so I don't know anything about that. Socials. Anything here? Alrighty, nothing at all interesting in socials this time, really. We are looking at Casper Ackerman's socials, so maybe that's why. Nah. Anyway, Devon's car. What's this about? Casper, we've just run a full diagnostics check on Devon's car. Blah blah blah. Okay, there's literally no information here at all, so that's a whole load of nothing. And we've got one here from Devon Butler. Call me. Casper, call me as soon as you get this. We need to discuss the party line with regards to what happened out there today. That's literally all he cares about. We all know that certain things will always be temperamental come race day. I will not have the finger pointed at Devon for this one. Call me D. He is very straightforward. Anyway, we have one final email from Zoe Ackerman. Hey Cass, I saw the race today. Hope there's not too much drama to deal with, but then I guess there always is, right? Lily is still cheering for Aiden. I'm still cheering for you. Hang in there, Zoe. Zoe Ackerman, environmental consultant. Zosa Consultancy. What, she have her own business now or something? I don't know. Anyway, that is all for this one, so I'll say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. Other than that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.